Hi, welcome to another Don't Worry About the Government podcast. I'm Ronnie Weiss over in New York. Hello, bingo birthday boy.
Hello, I'm Bingo Birthday Boy, and I'm here in parts unknown Texas. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. On Monday, it's my birthday. You should all observe it. Don't go to work. Don't go to your jobs. Don't take care of your families. Sit around and do nothing. It's how I would like it to be. Go.
Isn't that the opposite though? When they do like presidents' birthdays, isn't there one day where it's the actual birthday and then it's observed another day?
Well, and that's probably how my birthday is going to end out working out too, because I'm working on Monday and I'm working over this weekend too. So
it'll be more like one of those
be
honeymoons that people push back a year.
Yeah, in this case, it's probably going to be like Chris goes to the go-karts next Friday under birthday auspices.
Yes.
Because I like go-karts.
Go-karts are delightful. So let's ride a go-kart into our segue of, what is it?
Wage
inequality. So the, what's the actual name of this bill?
This is the Paycheck Fairness Act.
Paycheck Fairness Act. Rejected by the Republicans. Did they even vote on it in the Senate? Did they even bother? How did that work out?
No, I think it got blocked. You know, I actually don't have that brought up here.
Either way, it hasn't gone anywhere.
It didn't make it. It didn't make it.
It wouldn't have mattered if the House wasn't going to pass it regardless. So, what do you want to touch on first with this?
Okay, so I guess first we have how much pay inequality do we really have in the United States? Now, the Obama administration ran out this number.
It depends who you are and how you want to gauge it. I mean, it's such a range. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. Okay, so if I'm going to put it in a range, it's between 23% and 9%.
And if you want to do it on the dollar, it's between what, 70 and 91 cents on the dollar, right? Isn't that the difference?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anywhere in there.
It's actually
which
77.
Is huge.
Yes, it's a huge gradient. So keeping it real here, even the most conservative estimates, and one's done this week, and actually people I've talked to, including friend of the show, Tiffany Andrzejczyk, most of them go to this 10% unaccounted for wage inequality gap. So it does exist. Now, the Democrats and the Obama administration are going for sort of the bigger, broader 23% wage inequality gap. And that happens in part because women become parents, women start families, women take lower paying jobs in some cases. But that other 10% is women are lower in the corporate pyramid than men. And that stuff does need to be changed. And that's how we still end up with this 10% pay inequality that's happening there. How do you legislate that? That becomes murky, and therein lies the problem with this bill.
I've got two problems. One, Mitt Romney does not give a stance at all on it. I'm in favor of equal wages for women. Okay, why can't you parse out the bill and say, I'm not in favor of it for all the reasons the Republicans did? Like, I mean, there are legitimate reasons-ish, maybe. I don't buy them per se. Oh, people might sue their employers is one of the reasons they've really given. Yeah, well, they should. I mean, this is the whole point of Lilly Ledbetter, right? And then the other thing is the idea that talking about your wages is so just discouraged in the American workplace. I mean, that's a bad culture to not be able to have a comparison to know where you fit in and to know if you're getting screwed over compared to your coworkers. Those are the two big things to me, and those really have little to nothing to do with women in and of themselves.
Yes. I actually think that this 10% gap that is still present goes away if we increase pay transparency so that companies know that they can't do things like this. If you create a culture where it's impossible for a company to, do pay inequality stuff, and there are some legal protections for people should they want to sue, you basically nip this problem in the bud. I guess I understand Republican objection number one a hell of a lot more than Republican objection number two, which is to say, I get how this could open up the door for, trial lawyers to go crazy, and trial lawyers historically have been big donors to the Democratic Party. So maybe this is not the most efficient way of dealing with this problem. But the other part, pay inequity, it's only there to advantage the employer. It's only there so that I don't know how much money I'm making. And when you're a party of business,
that's what you care about, right? I mean, you're looking at how to advantage business, which is why it's ridiculous to me consistently that people think Republicans are for them. They're not. They're not for the working man. They're not for the middle class. They make this clear every opportunity they have.
There's a great article from the Atlantic Wire this week that you guys should check out, and it talks about keeping salaries secret makes employees complicit in wage inequity. And here's a nice little quote. If an employee finds out that he or she is making far less than someone who does less, or that he or she perhaps is just vastly underpaid in general, that employee may argue for a raise and may have a point. Companies fear this disruption in the general order of things, and that's why they insist on this secrecy. And this whole line of it's no one's business what you make is kind of bullshit. I mean, it's true, but it's also not true. It's everyone's business what everyone makes.
It's your business to choose if you tell people or not. You should not be discouraged from telling people if you want to tell people, if you want to have these conversations. If somebody's going to awkwardly come up to you and be like, dude, could you tell me how much you're making like a year? Because I feel like I'm getting screwed.
You don't have to tell them that.
I mean, then no, but I'm saying like you should then have the opportunity to choose whether or not you want to have that conversation. And I feel like there should be some sort of publicness about what these wages are. It shouldn't be this sort of I don't understand why when we're in this world of sunshine and openness in 2012, why people can just randomly choose how much they're paying different people different wages. I feel like there should be a lot more transparency than there is, especially in a bigger company. Maybe there's a cutoff, maybe, and I don't even necessarily think that there should be. I'm just saying maybe you can argue that with smaller companies. With bigger ones, I think there's no argument whatsoever.
Yeah. And this week was, I guess in a way, a very tough week for workers' rights, right? You had what happened in Wisconsin and sort of this vindication of Scott Walker's assault on the public unions. And we're having this debate on whether or not public unions should have, collective bargaining rights and all that stuff. And that's an interesting and complicated debate. But this one, to me, is so much more open and shut. Should I, as an employee, have some basic, leverage positions against my employer? Jeez Louise, if we're debating about this in 2012, workers' rights are in a lot more trouble than I thought.
Well, and they seem to be because people, you want to talk about complicit, anybody who thinks the Republicans are on their side when it comes to these issues, you're basically complicit at this point as far as I'm concerned. Anything else you want to shut with?
Yeah. The Republicans, here's their line on this. This is from Outside the Beltway, which is a terrible blog done by some neocons. The Paycheck Fairness Bill would set women against men, empower trial lawyers and activists, perpetuate falsehoods about the status of women in the workplace, and create havoc in a precarious job market. I gotta be honest, guys. Anti-discrimination laws don't pit class against class in a way that's so negative that it's not worth doing them. That's a little bit of bullshit.
And that was the same argument why we shouldn't rescind Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And look at how terribly the military has just declined since we've done that. All right, that's enough for me. Don'tWorry.tv is our blog. You can find our Facebook page at facebook.com/DWATG. You can comment on this below if you have anything you agree or disagree with here. Email us, contact@don'tworry.tv. Anything else, Chris?
Chris, or at Chris, ChrisNovemBrino, at Twitter, or on Twitter. And you can also go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/DWATG. Thanks again for all the comments on iTunes, guys. Those really help. Please keep them coming.
And you can talk to the show in general on Twitter at DWATG as well. So, happy birthday, bingo birthday boy!
Hey!
Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Bye, guys.